Bodgers. Right, part 2 of the foot pump lamp. Finally getting around to it. As I said in my last video, family stuff got in the way, and but we're getting back on form. So let's get at least one of these projects finished. Foot pump. If you haven't seen part 1, go in the link in the description below. Watch that first, then come back. We're going to get this foot pump finished, or as close to finish as we can. And so what we're doing, in the last video we stripped down our lamp, our donor lamp. It has the right brass socket on it. Sorry, the light's a bit bright today, but I'm trying to overcompensate because last time it looked a mess. So we're going to combine this with that, and you get the picture. This is a really old Kismet popular foot pump. God knows how old this is. It's getting on though. Probably 1920s, something like that. Kismet did actually make foot pumps. Foot pumps. They did actually make pumps that went into British World War II bombers and fighters to pressurise the oxygen tanks in an emergency. So, you know, a little bit of history behind them, but they had like a double cylinder, like I explained in the last video, and they worked both ways. So just one pump and then pump again, and you're getting two lots of oxygen into your tanks to keep you alive. So anyway, we're gonna strip this down, take out the centre part here that has the plunger on for the cylinder, and what's the word? Oh, whatever, you know what I mean. I'm going to take this out, replace it with that, and feed the wire, I think. How clear that is for you. Where are we? So this is the outlet here that leads off to your tube, that goes and puts the oxygen into your tanks. I'm hoping that once I get that in place, the cable will be able to come out of here and then go off, and then it will go to your outlet. But we'll see what we can do. I'm not going to clean it up too much. That can be done afterwards once everything's together. You know, it is still covered in nearly, I don't know, 100 years worth of grime and muck, but this is actually brass. So if somebody wanted to polish it up, they could do. I don't know, I kind of like it rustic, but if I give it a clean up later on, at least then folks ain't going to get covered in muck just by having it in their house. But anyway, let's crack on. Let's get a bit of a clear up. Get rid of that. First thing I'm going to do, get rid of the hose, because that's just going to get in our way and slow us down. When I can find the appropriate screwdriver. Jubilee clip, I don't know what you call them abroad really. I don't even know why they're called Jubilee here. Anyway, get rid of that. I was thinking of threading the electric cable through here. Just try and keep it looking authentic, so as it goes off the back of your table or whatever. But we'll see. At the moment, there's a fitting here that'll have to come off first. Obviously, all these will be Imperial. I don't have too many Imperial spanners. Well, I do. I've got quite a few, but I ain't about to start going into the workshop to try and find any, because it's Sunday afternoon, it's quite late, and you see what I'm doing there? How's that? So I'm going to use the old ball grips. Next weekend museum, RAF Snaith Museum, which myself and Adi from Blown 8 Cylinder volunteer at. We're going to be taking a look at a different building, maybe filming it, and unfortunately it's not actually on the site of the museum and it's due for demolition. Quite sad, but you know, people need the space, people need to be able to get on and do things, you know, and it has to come down. But we're going to try and save several pieces of the building to use back at RAF Snaith. I don't know whether we're going to film any of that because time will be against us, but we're going to do our best. So we've got the little air fitting off. Sorry about the light, but the last video was dark as heck. And hopefully, if I can get that up to the camera, see where the cable will probably come out. If not, there is this part here where it could come out this way, but I'll take that off as well. Let's take a look. I'll take that off as well if I can. And then that gives us two options for getting the cable out. 80 years worth of muck in the screw. Of course, it's not going to come out very easy. Yeah, I know, more grips on brass. I know. It's not ideal. But I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. Like I say, I might even clear it up, get the brasso at it. You remember brasso, Kiddie Winks? My grandma would do all the brass work in her house. Or is that just a northern thing? Let me know in the comments. This is some sort of a, I don't know what that is, like a little springy arrangement. And then in the bottom, let's take a look. What can we see in there? We can see, I don't know if you can get that, there is actually a ball bearing in the bottom. So, don't know, maybe we'll have to strip it right down to try and get that out. I'm guessing it's some sort of like a pressure relief. It goes on the spring, who knows. Unless that's our one-way valve, so when it pumps down, the air comes out, and then it goes back up as it sucks air back in. But so we're going to have to see about that. Next thing, take this lovely brass nut off here. Again, I know, don't bust me balls. The main thing here is, can I actually get it off? There is the whole piston, that was the word I was looking for earlier, is the whole piston going to turn with it? No, we're lucky. See, over the years it's been repaired and braze has been put on, braze welding. Leave those parts over there. And now the idea, I guess, is try and get that out of there. See if we can figure it out, eh, folks? Bit of persuasion needed. Lovely old tools. I don't know why they don't make tools like this still. It always seems like a crying shame. You know, this thing was still pumping air, you know, 80 years on. As you can see, the pistons come out, bit of manipulation, and get that spring up out of our way. hoping that we'll be able to get the lights fitting through there. So what we're doing, folks, so now it's out of the spring. I'll just tuck that out of the way for now. And we'll take a look at this. I can undo it, because one thing that I did learn after the camera was turned off in the last episode for this lamp, like I say, link will be in the description, go back, watch that first, then come back, is that under here, I take off that nut there on the end. You see that? Maybe overdoing it with the light in this video, but unfortunately the lighting in here isn't too clever. Use that all the way down the cable, because I don't think we'll be needing that. So the one thing I noticed once I actually turned off the camera in the last one is that all this actually comes apart, and underneath it is something that resembles brass. Now I think it's Chinesium, cheap metal alloy that you know, made in China, but it is quite an old lamp, so who knows. But all these parts actually come off, and underneath we have some shiny metal underneath, which might look a bit better for us. Still with me, folks? You're not asleep yet? So what we're left with is our light fitting on the top and something down here that resembles metal. It is metal, but you know, it's not the best of metals. Obviously this would be cleaned up. I'm not going to do it all. What I'm going to do is assemble it, and then later on at some point what I might do is put some photos up on the social media, on Facebook, and I'll come up with a picture of how it looks once it's completed. This is just basically a bit of a mess around video, try and get it done, and so at least one project that we've started gets finished. Make sense? Hope so. Right, let's have a look. So what we need to do now is get the piston from out of the cylinder, try and figure out how that works. And I'm hoping it's just a matter of unscrewing this and taking out the piston. And hopefully we'll be able to figure out what's going on down the bottom, and if we can actually get that ball bearing out and feed our cable through. Try and do it without knocking you guys over. Oh, that's tight. Let's have a look. Like I say, there is 80 years worth of crud on here, but you see how it's coming up quite shiny when I scrape off all the crap and crud. See, I don't know why they don't. I know it's all expensive to use proper materials and things on tools, but look at it. 80 years later, and it was still, although not efficiently, it was still sort of pushing out a bit of pressure behind there. Yeah, the piston maybe could have done with a new seal on it or whatever, and renewing, but what can you do? Right, let's have a look, see what this is telling us. Just bear with me, folks. I'll bring you back when I've got this removed, and we'll see what's happening there. Right folks, I've got it loosened off. Didn't take that much actually. But there is that much oil on it. I think the chances are that helped us kind of preserve things a bit. So that's the brass top of the cylinder. And then, I don't know if you can see, can you see how shiny that is? There's some brass there. And that's our piston. Big thick piece of leather around it by the looks of it. And God knows what they've used for grease. Let's look down the cylinder. Yeah, there's a bit of grease and stuff in there. So what I might do is clean this up so as we know what we're working with, and see if we can figure out what this little ball bearing is down at the bottom, see if we can get that out as well. And then the basic gist of what we're doing is so the cable go through the top of the piston all the way down, and then into the lamp. So what we'll do, I'll assemble it how it's going to be, and then off camera I'll clean it all up, do the job properly, and I'll put the pictures onto social media. Again, I'll put a link in the description below so you can see what it is I've been doing, but let me just see if I can give you a rough idea. So try and get the cable through this spring. See just how dirty my fingers are getting. That's how much muck and dirt there is on there. Like I say, it's not all going to stay on there. I will give it a bit of a clean up, because I was asked if I was going to actually paint the framework and try and make it as shiny as possible, but I don't know. Does that give it too much? I don't know. I'll tell you what, you tell me in the comments below what you want to see. Do you want to see it clean and painted up, or do you want to see it just left a little bit rustic? Alright, so here we go. So that's going to go through that fitting. And then through the piston top. The cylinder top, I should say. The piston's now out of it. I was talking about systems and all the rest of it. Go to blown 8 cylinder. Check out some of his videos if you haven't already. Give him a like, give him a subscribe. He's a good bloke. He's the chap that I do the voluntary work at the museum with, and we will be going out on a lot more explores, as you'll have seen in my other videos. I've been buying some stuff and actually started a new series on the channel, Exploring with Wish.com. It's more for the crack, but whatever, you know. We have a good time, we learn something. And ultimately that's what it's about. You learn something new every day. Counts for a lot, right? So, the wire, imagine the wire, has gone all the way through the cylinder and is now coming out of that little fitting on the side. You now fasten back up the cylinder. Very fine threads, you know, there'll have been somebody who'll have been on a lathe or on some machine that did this by hand. This is no CNC machine, this is no computers or newfangled equipment, you know what I mean? This is like the proper stuff. It's dying out, you know. I learned how to use a lathe when I was at college. I did engineering, and I learned how to be a car mechanic. Believe it or not, despite the name. And these things are just dying out. So all these electric vehicles and things. What I'm seeing mechanics is becoming an electrician. I don't know. So, piston top goes back on. This closes back up. Obviously what I will do is find a way of securing the cylinder in the bottom, securing the light fitting in the bottom, so as it doesn't move about like this too much. And you know, there we go. There we go, folks. Right. Put a little bit of safety back on, so that spring's still under tension. So you could have it sat on your desk, just like that, closed up. Oh. This is my favourite more. You stood up. Get our bulb in the end. Almost looks like a leg here, doesn't it? Like a front leg. This gets cleaned up. Springs in place. And then our light on the top. What I'll do, folks, is I'll call it a day for this video. We'll call that part 2. Like I say, I will put on social media. Let me get you in a decent thing. Where are we? How's that? Yeah, because I'm looking at you on the screen. What we'll do is we'll get this cleaned up. I'll put some photos on social media of it. You tell me if you think it needs painting. I kind of like the rustic look. Clean it up, see how it looks. Might give it a bit of a wire brush off, but pretty much leave it as is. And do you think I should sell it, or do you think I should keep it? Finally, it's one project that will be completed. You know, it's just a matter of chasing that wire out, and away you go, really. But what you've got is something that the old hipsters will pay quite a lot of money for, or a petrol head that you know, somebody's buying as a gift. What do you think? Right, folks, I haven't cleaned it up too much, but what I had to do was take the wire through the bottom. I couldn't actually get it out of the fitting on the side, unfortunately, but I've given it a little bit of a clean off, and stuck a bulb in it, and there we go. So it's Kismet Popular. And there we have it. It will look a bit better, I think, if I get the brasso at it and give it a proper clean up. There's plenty of cable on it. And there we go. We'll take some better pictures on social media, and put those onto my Facebook page. Link will be in the description. So there we go. Second outro, same as before. I'll put all the links to everybody, and see you later, Bodgers. See ya.